Let's start with the one news story on the inauguration, because if we do that, we can then look at it and give Chewie a bit more time. Chewie may not get here. We'll see what happens, but it'll give us a bit more time to have a look at it. So this is from One News tonight. This is 5.5, 6 minutes long. We are going to watch pretty much the whole thing, and we may stop along the way to chat as to what we're looking at.
He's back. Donald Trump, once again, one of the most powerful figures on the planet, sworn in as the 47th president of America and immediately delivering a policy blitz that's got the world watching. Only the second US president to serve non-consecutive terms, Trump declared the golden age of America begins right now as he...
What utter horseshit. Begins right now. This is the Make America Great Again. Hang on. If it's beginning now, surely your logic says there's been a golden age because it's again. No? Or maybe it's just pablum and bullshit. Perhaps.
Outlined his agenda in a wide-ranging inauguration speech. Among the moves, declaring illegal immigration at the US-Mexico border a national emergency and sending troops there to ramp up deportations. A pledge to rename the Gulf of Mexico the Gulf of America.
Which will do nothing and won't show up on any maps, and it's just a complete wolf whistle. Is that the right word? No. To his racist supporters.
Yeah, and
dog whistle.
Taking back the Panama Canal.
Act of war.
The newly sworn-in president also vowed to once again withdraw the US from the Paris Climate Agreement.
Which he's already done.
The international pact to fight global warming and, quote, drill baby drill for oil. Trump also proclaimed the government will only recognise two genders, male...
This is going to be this part of the conversation about the two genders. That's a part of the whole, what we're going to talk about to those dumb right wingers. That's coming up shortly.
And female, signing orders ending diversity programs. We've got extensive coverage this evening. US correspondent Logan Church is standing by live in chilly Washington, D.C. We begin with his report on how this historic day unfolded.
Just quietly, for people who don't want to watch or hear this, that's cool, I get it. It's not everyone's cup of tea, but it's the biggest news story in the world today. So we're looking at it.
A triumphant return to the White House. The incoming president being welcomed by the outgoing one.
Yeah, did you hear Biden? Welcome home. Dude, you can... Do you remember when was it the Queen met with Trump and she purposely just stayed neutral? Wasn't happy, wasn't sad, didn't offend, just stayed neutral. And I think the Pope might have done it too, because he's an awful human being. Biden, welcome home. Probably can't remember who he's talking to though.
Reinstating the traditional handover of the Oval Office. After the two men met for tea, they left together for the US Capitol. Due to the below-zero temperatures, the ceremony was moved indoors. A small crowd, including the political elite and titans of the tech world, gathered.
Interesting, Michelle Obama wasn't there. And I watched, if you haven't seen it, it's on YouTube already. Go watch the Jon Stewart clip with his review from The Daily Show, basically saying Michelle Obama is the only person to stay by her morals. Because how can you happily have a cup of tea with someone you refer to as Hitler-esque, Hitler-like? And if you're just going to have a cup of tea with them and ride in the car with them, that probably says something about you and your morals. Just speaking, just saying it.
To watch Donald Trump do what many thought was unthinkable, being sworn back in as president.
So help me God. So help me God.
So here's another thing for you. This didn't get reported very much, but I saw it on a couple of tweets. Didn't put his hand on the Bible. Now, personally, I couldn't give a rat's ass that he didn't put his hand on the Bible. Think if Barack Obama had have not put his hand on the Bible. You know, that guy that the right were all talking about as a Muslim, who they lost their shit at when he wore a tan suit. If he hadn't put his hand on the Bible, that would have been the end of United States as a Christian country, according to the right wingers. But Trump doesn't do it. Not a peep. Not a peep. Isn't it weird? It's almost hypocritical.
Congratulations, Mr. President. Of America begins right now.
Immediately announcing a raft of measures to achieve.
Although golden age probably makes sense, seeing I believe in his apartments, he has literal solid gold toilets. So maybe he's just thinking of the age that he can get more gold into his ownership personally, perhaps.
I will declare a national emergency at our southern border. We are going to be changing the name of the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America. And above all, China is operating the Panama Canal, and we didn't give it to China. We gave it to Panama, and we're taking it back.
While Donald Trump was quick to swing into action.
What's that saying? People who give a present and they want to take it back. If you're giving your present to someone, they can do whatever they want with it. But it's just all dog whistles, dog whistles, dog whistles, dog whistles.
Today, Joe Biden made some final passing moves, including issuing pardons for people like Dr. Anthony Fauci, who led this country's COVID.
Now, this is interesting, yeah? The Biden pardon thing. He's a Biden family member. He's pardoned family members. He has, pardoned people like Dr. Fauci, as the reporter's just saying here. And there's a debate over this. Unfortunately, the debate, the moral high ground has kind of been lost by the Republicans and Trump supporters, because he straight away went in and signed pardons for, I think, 1,500 criminals who attacked the Capitol on January the 6th. Now, there's also this narrative that goes, well, you can see, obviously, Dr. Fauci was guilty of all these crimes because Biden pardoned him. So if we're going to use the same logic, that means the people were obviously guilty of all those horrific acts on January 6th because Trump pardoned them. See how it works when you want to be consistent?
General Mark Milley and members of the committee investigating the January 6, 2021 attack on the US Capitol. Now, are any of these people charged with a crime? No, but Joe Biden clearly concerns that Trump might carry out his threat of targeting his political enemies. In a final preemptive pardon flurry, Biden giving them to members of his own family, saying they'd been subjected to unrelenting attacks and threats motivated by a desire to hurt him. While Trump and new Vice President J.D. Vance cordially waved Biden goodbye soon after the swearing-in ceremony, the president later responding to his predecessor's actions.
Now he's going to talk about the things that Joe did today with the pardons of people that were very, very guilty of very bad crimes.
As he pardons all those people who are very, very guilty of very bad crimes.
Then, at his reimagined indoor inauguration parade, Donald Trump truly cementing his status as a television president, signing.
It's honestly, this is the circus, and his supporters eat it up. This is populism at its most. He is literally signing orders in front of thousands of his fans. Now, I'm not saying this is the populism that we'll ever see in New Zealand, but this is the political world at the moment. It's a three-ring circus, and he is the ringmaster at the moment. And the left in America need to learn how to be populists as well. I don't care if you think that that's a bad idea and it's all about policy. Fine. You're not going to win. You're just not going to win. Gavin Newsom, you're not going to win. It's not how it works anymore. The only way Gavin Newsom wins is if the after Trump era of the Republicans, which is in 4 years from now, they go back to a standard Republican and it goes back to a standard-off. But if they don't, they've got a formula now to win. The ultimate populist is basically doing WWE in front of 20,000 people by signing orders.
Executive orders in front of thousands of supporters and millions watching around the country.
Thank you, sir. The next item here is the withdrawal from the Paris Climate Treaty.
Could you imagine Biden doing this? I don't think so.
It's he's working the mic. WWE, that's what entertainers do.
I don't think so.
All to thunderous applause. As the sun sets on Washington, D.C. today, everyone in America will soon be waking up to the start of the second Trump era, which promises great change for the US and the world.
This is the weirdest thing in the world. They're using swords to cut the cake, and the swords won't cut the cake. Small side note, but there you go.
One thing's for certain,
how hard it is.
It will be unlike anything this country has ever seen.
This doesn't really work.
And Logan's with us now live from the heart of Washington, D.C. Donald Trump went straight to the Oval Office, Logan. Tell us what he did then.
Well, Simon, what was waiting for him was a large pile of black folders full of executive orders for him to sign. Top of that list was an almost blanket pardon for about 1,600 people who were charged following the events of January 6, 2021. You'll recall that after Donald Trump lost the 2020 election,
1,600 people. 1,600 people on his first day who committed crimes in his name at the Capitol building.
refused to concede in quite a fiery speech here in Washington, D.C. Then after that, a mob of his supporters went to the US Capitol and violently broke in while that vote was being certified by the then Vice President, Mike Pence. Now, after the events there were...
Oh, but you forget, people. You know, the Republicans told you this was a tour. Just look, this is the tour that just got a little bit out of hand. That was one of the... There's just a tour going on right here. Not hundreds of people sprinting through the halls looking for Mike Pence to hang him. Just a tour.
Of course, many investigations, and as a result, many people were charged, some ending up in prison. Today, though, Donald Trump fulfilling a campaign promise of pardoning most of the January 6ers, as they are known here in America. Also on the executive order list today was one to do with TikTok. You'll recall that Congress has passed a ban banning TikTok, and a couple of days ago, the app went dark in America. Donald Trump promising to bring it back. What he did today is essentially delay that ban for 75 days in order to come up with some sort of deal with TikTok. He expressed some interest in the US coming.
One of the big concerns at the moment for many in media is the right is basically owning most, if not all, of social media. Twitter, then Zuckerberg bending the knee. TikTok is one of those places that still feels a bit left-leaning, but it's people like Kevin O'Reilly, the bald guy from Shark Tank, who was talking about wanting to buy it. Fox News regular. So there is a possibility that pretty much every social media will end up being owned by the right in America. And as we talked about last night, you know, we talked about in the old days, those who controlled the masthead, the front page of the paper controlled the storyline. Now it's those who own the algorithm. YouTube's still pretty good, you know, but all the social medias, if you want to get to an under 30s, the social medias is where they go. It's actually quite concerning.
Some joint venture arrangement with the Chinese-owned company. Whether TikTok or ByteDance has any interest in that, we don't know at this stage. But that's just one of dozens of executive orders signed by Donald Trump today, and it looks like he's just getting started.